What is up, y'all? So I changed my hair. I got these lip tip in box. Why don't I just put y'all on while I have it? Hello Beauty Loxy, 16-inch, and I got color 1B and 27, so it's a mixture. This box is upside down. So this is it. I have 2 packs in my head. I was not gonna tell you guys about this hair because this isn't what the video is about, but I might as well. Shit. So yeah, these are so cute. It's human hair, so I definitely put water and mousse in it to define the curls, and then I twisted them up as I was doing my my makeup. So as I was doing my makeup, so as I was doing my makeup, my hair was like dry, so it's gonna stay like this. So yeah, I don't know, I was just kind of reviewing all of the things that I wanted to really talk about on my channel, and I realized I have a son that I love so much. So it's just like I talk about him all the time. I have a bunch of like content ideas, and this one just spoke to me today, so I was like, let me talk about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him my donuts. So that he can go ahead and chill and vibe out. But this is gonna be all the things that I learned and noticed as a first-time mom and a single mom. They kind of go hand in hand together for me. I became a single mom literally like 3 weeks into him being in this world. So of course, as a first-time mom, just in general, we don't really know what we're doing, and none of the books like can tell you really how to care for your child, you know, like in depth, like all the things that had me freaking out. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. This is definitely something new for my mommies, new for my channel in general. So I already know what to do. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see and you want more of what you like to see. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. Oh my God. They are not that good. They're not that good. He has 3 whole donuts in his hand like this. Powdered donuts at that. Just, it's okay. It's all right. Okay, put the bag down. Put the bag down. It feels like I'm trying to like unarm somebody. Okay, put the bag down. Put the bag down. Okay. Yeah. I have 2 categories. One is going to be for physical, so things like that I helped him with when it came to his physical body and his physical health. And then the second part is going to be things for your mental as a mom, especially if you're doing it alone. It can be very nerve-wracking, and it can cause a lot of anxiety because you've never done it before. So number 1 that I learned is that weaning is very difficult. Weaning him from being a fully nursed, breastfed baby was so hard. Doing that was just so hard, honestly. Like, I even Googled it. I was like, how am I gonna wean him off of my titty? Like, how am I gonna do how am I gonna do that? And I used to Google it. I used to look it up all the time. I used to freak out. He wasn't fully weaned until about 1 year and 9 months. So I tried to do it for like his first year. Like as soon as he hit 1, I tried. And it was so hard because he would just like grab my shirt and he would basically like pull it out. And I'm just like, dang, you know? And then after a while, he actually like using me is what me and my boyfriend called it. He would cry, he would whine, he'd act like he's ready to go to sleep. He'll, you know, pull it out, nurse, and then he'll be up and ready to go. And I'm just like, that's crazy. It's that when he was with my mom or when he was being babysat by someone else, he didn't need me. Like, he didn't even drink the milk that I had pumped into the bottles. So how I started to get him off of me was I would literally feed him. He wanted to eat everything that I ate. Of course, if he was able to chew it at the time, if he was able to chew it at the time, I definitely let him have it. He was into fruits. So strawberries, I gave him strawberries, bananas. blueberries. He loved blueberries, and then grapes. I didn't even tell you guys for real like what foods he would eat. Like I remember he would literally grab my pizza off of my plate and hold it like it was like that. So it actually ended up getting easier was when we stopped sleeping together. So basically through the night, some nights he would go and he wouldn't touch me. But other nights he'd literally, like as I was sleeping, he'd pull him out and he'd start nursing. What I started to do for him was I actually started to stop co-sleeping with him. So I'd put him in his bed and in his crib so that he could actually sleep without me. And then also with juice and waters, I can't remember at what age or like around what time this was, but I did give him juice and water diluted. So juice diluted with water. So the second thing I'm gonna go ahead and get into is choosing a breast pump. My mom found my breast pump for me. So I didn't really have to look too much, but something that I did realize is when your breasts are changing shape, your nip is gonna be a different shape too. So for the breast pump that I had, I'm gonna try to go ahead and get a picture in here. But basically it had two different like pump sizes. And when I realized that it wasn't pumping the breast milk out, I had realized that I was using one that was too small. Like the hole was too small so it wouldn't suction correctly. So you need to make sure that the suction is good, and you can actually feel it when it's suctioning properly. And if it hurts, you can readjust. And yeah, I also have like bras, and I'll show you guys that too. Basically they unlatch and then you put the breast pump on there, and you can be hands-free. So if you need to, you know, nurse them or nurse them on the other side, or you just want to write, or you just want to be on your phone, that is basically there for that. So has to do with his thrush, like in his mouth. But thrush is, it's like yeast that builds up in the mouth due to like babies drinking milk and stuff. How I ended up knowing that he had it is it was on his tongue and it was white. So you'd see like just build up on their tongue. What you want to do is take grapefruit seed oil, like extract, and dilute it with water. Put it into like this little cup or something, and then I dilute it, put some water in it, and then clean his mouth out with it. I believe like 2 to 3 times until it was gone. Cradle cap. Cradle cap is very, very important. And basically, if you don't know what that is, that's something that everyone usually talks about. Cradle caps in like this soft spot area, but you don't want to brush it out. And if you actually end up brushing it out or even combing it out, it can pull the hair out of the scalp and they could have like a bald spot. If you do brush it, if they have a lot of hair, Kai had a lot of hair when he was born, so I could actually like put baby oil on his hair, slick it down, and then get like his other hair that was grown on top and then kind of brush it out that way. It wasn't really too bad. It wasn't all over his head. It was literally in the front where his soft spots were, and then maybe like the crown area. Now we can actually go ahead and talk about the mental state. When you're a single mom and when you're a first-time mom, literally everything seems so drastic because it's just like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I meant for this? Things like that. We start thinking about the future. We start thinking about literally everything we could be doing wrong instead of things that we're doing right. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover some things that I was worried about, but also kind of learned during this process. Is if you're like me and you just like, you have a lot of questions and you feel like you don't want to bother people with your questions and you're tired of Googling them because you don't really know, there's these 3 books, and I actually have them over here. So number 1 that you're probably going to read the most of is What to Expect When You're Expecting. So this one right here is the one that you're probably going to read the most of because you're literally pregnant during this time. You really want to get prepared. You just want to know what to do. So you're probably going to read the most of this one. This one goes over like diet. This one goes over things like your physical pains that you might have, when you should expect Braxton Hicks contraction, types of labor, things about the baby's positioning, so just premature labor. Like it goes into all of that. So if you have any questions about anything, it's probably in this book. This book definitely like saved my mental state. Is definitely the book that helped me the most. This one right here is basically really, really good for, this isn't a what to expect book, but this is a book where you can basically look at the development of your child and just kind of see like week by week. During pregnancy, since our hormones are all over the place, like we just feel very alone our journeys sometimes. So it's definitely important to reach out to friends that you know have babies or people who are pregnant. Like I got close to a lot of people that were kind of just on my social media. I got closer to them because we were all pregnant around the same time. It was like 2020. We kind of just all grouped together because our experiences were relatively the same, especially going through it in 2020. It's very important for you to reach out to people because the whole process is just kind of lonely. I actually made a Facebook group for moms, but if you don't want to make your own Facebook group, you can always just go look into Facebook groups around your area, like your city, and look into that. Reach out to people, connect with people, use your resources so you don't feel so alone and so all out of the place. Okay, now this one has to do with like child development really. What I'm gonna say is don't compare your kid. Don't compare your kid when it comes to talking, teething, walking, anything like that. Unless you can clearly see that they're not following you when you're looking or when you're pointing, they're not picking up on cues, like emotional cues, which the books actually do go ahead and get into that. If you notice that those are off, of course you can go to a professional. But what I'm talking about is just like development in general and your mindset behind it. You don't want to compare your child or think something's wrong with them because someone else potty trained their kid at 9 months and your son isn't potty trained at 2.5. Children learn at their own pace, and all you can do is just show up. I wanted him weaned off like fully at a year and at most a year and 3 months, but it took 6 months longer than I expected. But obviously, like, he weaned when he was ready. Other people's kids, they could walk at like 9 months, 10 months, and things like that. But you don't want to compare your children. Just understand that every child grows and learns differently, and it's all about what's more comfortable and what's good for their development, what's good for them, what their pace is. So that is very, very important. That's not something I really, really struggled with, but it is something that, it pops up. Like, you start to wonder, like, oh, they're not doing this or they're not doing that. There's nothing wrong with your child. They're just learning at their own pace. That's really what it is. The next thing right here is for people who don't necessarily have family all the time. But what I mean by that is, like, support can kind of be iffy depending on if, like, you have a small family or if your family is just extremely busy or if your relationship is just a little like rocky. Find support within your family if you can do that. Like, use them when they're around. If they're not around all the time, that does happen as well, because what we have to understand is all people have lives, and even though we're pregnant and expecting a child, like, that is our journey, that is our life, and as much as we want support, like, sometimes it's not always there. So just understand, one, everyone has their own life, and two, use them when they do come around. And what I mean by this is, I know we can become so attached to our babies, but sometimes we need a mommy break. Sometimes we really do. And this is all about what you're comfortable with. For me, it did take me a little while because COVID was still going on. He was born 2021. Use your family when they're around, because you're gonna need your mental breaks. And as attached as you are, if they're able to keep the baby or even come stay with you and keep the baby so that you can rest or so that you can clean, or someone is here, someone is there to help you clean, like, use that support system when you have it. If it's not always there, especially use it if it's not always there. If work is going to start picking up for the grandma, just understand that it's there to use it, and when it's not there, don't take it so personal. This is a big, big one. Depending on where you're at watching this video, if you're pregnant right now, save, especially if you're a single mom and you're working right now while you're pregnant, save all of your money, because do not be in a rush to get back to work. If you need to have savings because you don't have savings, do that. I got myself an extra month off of work because I saved for 3 months instead of 2. They wanted me back at 2 months, 8 weeks. But I was like, no, I have my money saved up so that I could take 3 months because 1, I was attached to him. 2, I was still learning the process of pumping and actually going back to work. This was very uncomfortable for me, is I was pumping in an employee bathroom because they didn't have a mom section, and I was putting the breast milk in the employee fridge, and that was just very awkward for me. Like, at the time I was 19, and you know, all these older people are looking at me like, did this girl just put breast milk in the fridge? And I'm like, yeah, I did. And then I would have to get up all the time because like my breasts are leaking, and it's just so uncomfortable for me. So it was just like, it was only 3 months. So I felt like, you know, if I had saved for 4 or 5 months so that I didn't have to feel rushed to get back to work because it was so awkward. Of course, if you want to get back to work, definitely understand that. I definitely get that, especially as a single mom, like who's going to provide. If you can save, and if you do have that support, definitely don't be in a rush to get back to work because of society and whatever they are telling you that you need to do. Like, take your time with you and your baby and bond the way that you guys should. Parenting styles differ for every parent. Parenting styles also change. Some people decide to pop their kids or spank their kids, and if that's something that is not, you know, in you, you don't have to feel forced to do it. And I don't want like anyone ever feeling like their parenting style is wrong, because all children are different. And something that I even saw with me and my siblings is all of us learned and were disciplined, or should have been disciplined, differently because we learn differently. My mom's parenting style was, you know, just one size fits all, when for me, I realized that that's not true. Like, gentle parenting works, but sometimes it doesn't. So I do have to raise my voice, or I feel like, you know, but also with that, co-regulating and just working on what works for Kai and I so that we can kind of get to a balanced state and a balanced parenting style. I'm not advocating to beat your child like abusively, but we all know that a little pop here and there or a little stern tone in your voice works for some children. Like, hey, don't touch that. A little pop on the hand is not gonna traumatize them. Like, they're going to be fine. So I just want to say, like, parenting styles are going to differ. Your parenting styles definitely may change from the toddler years to them being older, but it's just like, this is all for you, and I don't want you guys to feel pressured to fall into society's standards, because those change as well. You can see how society changes anyway. It's like, you can change your parenting style as you like. It depends on what works for you and your baby. And the final thing I'm gonna say, and this is, I feel like, the most important, you are not going to know everything. You're never going to know everything. Like, although I am, you know, in the hang of it, like, I know, like, I wake up and there's a baby here that I need to take care of, like, my lifeline. I know what I need to do type deal. Although I know that, I'm not gonna know everything. And as he grows, something that I became comfortable with, like, the uncertainty, is like, I'm not gonna know everything. You're not gonna know everything. There's no amount of books, no amount of people that you can ask, no amount of research that you can do to be the perfect parent, because the perfect person doesn't exist, the perfect child doesn't exist, the perfect parent does not exist. So it's like, don't place these unrealistic expectations on yourself. Just have a willingness to learn yourself, learn your child, and learn what works for you both, and then you will be great. That one's my thumbnail. Yeah, that's literally it. If you guys want more content like this, I'm definitely gonna bring it. We can do some routines, we can do some hair routines for him. If you guys want, like, hair tutorials, I don't know if I'm gonna do that, to be honest, because I never even know how I'm gonna end up doing my hair. I just kind of I don't know. I just kind of figure it out. Like, every time, I never know how I'm gonna do my hair. I just be like, let me just try this, and then if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, I'll cry and I'll fix it later. But that is literally it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want more parenting things or even a part 2 of this video, if you want a part 2, please let me know, because I have so many other things to cover. So yeah, thank you for watching my video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out.